Good afternoon, New Yorkers, fellow patriots, and fellow extremists. My name is George Gravello. I'm with the New York Revolution Group. I am the lead state coordinator. This is Jody Jackson, a.k.a. The Outlaw. You can find us on Facebook if you're not on our Facebook page under the New York Revolution Group. We have regional pages for each of the regions in New York. We have county chapters across the state. You can also find out about our political activism, our 3%er movement. You can find out about our prepping, as well as our prepping community concepts as well. That's enough about the New York Revolution. The reason why I'm here today is because I'm the only one that really says the things that are said, that I say. There's a lot of people that talk about the politics and the legal part, and it's very important that we're involved with that. But I'm here to tell you other things that need to be said. I'd like to read something to you from Thomas Paine before I get started. Thomas Paine says, "Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it." Undergo the fatigue of supporting it. So I ask you now, what is the quality of your patriotism? What level of support do you bring to this cause? I'm sorry, I'm speaking a little too loud. What level of support do you bring to this cause? For the past year, I've spoken to people across the state, and these are some of the things that I've heard. Well, I don't know, GC, that's what they call me on Facebook. I don't know, GC, you know, I'm concerned about my family and what they're going to think about me. I'm concerned about my friends and my neighbors.
Okay, thank you.
I'm concerned about my co-workers. I'm concerned about possibly losing my job if I speak up, if I get active, if I try to bring people into the fold and fight for our freedoms. Thomas Jefferson said to us, he prefers dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
All right.
Amen.
Each one of us need to make a choice where we fall on that equation. I say to you today that in a time like we live in our time, that men will be enslaved in times of tyranny, not by shackles, but by the way in which they've been taught to think, by the way they have been taught to think. If you think that having discord among your family is better not to have that than defending your freedom and defending their freedom. If you think that having discord with friends and family instead of defending your freedom and their freedom, if you think that the loss of a job is more important than defending your freedom, I ask you, what side of the equation do you fall on? Do you prefer dangerous freedom, or do you prefer peaceful slavery? So, you're free men and women? Is that what you're telling me? Are you free men and women? I can't hear you.
Yes!
If that's the case, you need to go home and you need to become active. You need to get every family member, every co-worker up and active and be willing to take them to the polls to vote in November so we can kick Andy to the curb.
Yeah!
Now, in our spirit of patriotism that all of us have embedded in us, in our hearts, in our souls, we have a spirit of patriotism. There is a characteristic in that patriotism that measures the level of your spirit, and that is resistance and defiance against tyranny and evil. Our freedom has always been based on our ability to defy tyranny. guys agree with me on that?
Yes.
It's not that important. I believe that that's true. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get too excited up here. The country was founded upon resistance. The country was founded on resistance. Now, I'm sorry, that's how we got our freedom. When you, let me ask you this, let me run this by you guys, because I've asked this every place I go. I want you to pay attention to the crowd when I ask you this. How many of you have signed petitions to repeal the New York State Act? Please raise your hand. Everybody look, take a look, take a look. How many of you have been to rallies similar to this, or other community meetings similar to this? How about emailed or written letters to your representatives at the local and state level? If you look, just about the majority of all of you have answered this question. You ready? Pay attention. How many of you believe that the politicians are listening to you?
Hell no.
The gentleman in the back says he does because he lives in this county, and I agree with him. The representatives that we have here today stand for our civil liberties. Why don't we stand and give these representatives a round of applause? John F. Kennedy gave us a very, very profound statement. And it scares people when I say this, and I apologize to those of you that I scare when I say this. John F. Kennedy said to us, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable." Let me say that again. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Now, 3%, I thought you were asking a question. Yeah. We had a few hands go up with the 3%ers. Now, there are a couple of steps in between those two forms of revolution. A couple of steps that we need to take outside of making sure we get to the polls in November. And those two steps are pretty simple. Do not comply with the New York SAFE Act.
Yeah.
Do not comply with the New York SAFE Act. That was planned. I will not comply with the New York SAFE Act. I refuse to hide the fact that I will not Damn it. I refuse to comply with the New York SAFE Act. We're even now. Okay. And I encourage you to do the same. With the masses non-complying to the New York Unsafe Act, we have half of the equation established at that point. The second step is to go to local law enforcement, and your sheriff, by the way, is awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Go to your local law enforcement. I know some of you are from other counties. Go to your local law enforcement. Speak with them. Ask them how they feel about the New York Unsafe Act. Ask them how they feel about their oath to the Constitution and defending it against all tyrants, foreign and domestic. We have way too many domestic tyrants in this country. Ask them how they feel about the enforcement of the SAFE Act. Ask them, will they enforce it? I'm running out of money. There goes lunch. I owe you $1. I'm good for it. There's some quarters. No. She wants them. Okay.
George, we'll cover you, don't worry.
So, back to topic here.
In case you get hungry on the way home.
Thank you very much. We gotta love Patriots. We're always looking after each other, aren't we? Encourage your local law enforcement not to enforce the SAFE Act. That one was planned. So with these two things, right? With these two things, non-compliance. New Yorkers need to stand with our brothers and sisters in Connecticut. Look at what they did out there. We need to have zero compliance with the New York Unsafe Act. Now, when you put those two pieces together, we have the masses non-compliant and law enforcement not enforcing the Unsafe Act. What do we get? A law that is null and void. Null and void. That's what we want. Null and void. I'll stop yelling in the mic with the last statement. My favorite quote from Samuel Adams. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Keen on setting the brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. We are that majority. We are the minority. Take this message home. Take it to your families. Take it to your friends. Take it to your co-workers. Muster that courage and tell them do not comply with the New York Unsafe Act. God bless you. Thank you.